Welcome to the latest episode of Beatin' and Bangin'. I'm your host, Kyle Dalton. In today's video, we've got a couple of stories about both current two-time Cup Series champions, including some really disturbing comments from Joey Logano this week, echoing along the lines as what Kyle Busch said recently. Plus, we have a separate story and some personal news on Rowdy. And our final story is on a pair of Austins, with Cindric firing back at Dillon and his grandfather this week by following a similar strategy implemented by Denny Hamlin just a week earlier. Our first story is a problematic one. There's just no way around it. If you'll recall, Joey Logano ran the Truck Series race on the Bristol Dirt earlier this year, where he won the race driving for ThorSport Racing. Sounds happy enough, right? Except there's a lot more to this story. And we found out this week on Kenny Wallace's YouTube channel, where he interviewed the Team Penske driver. During that conversation, the 33-year-old driver said a lot, including a shocking admission on what it took to run that race and why he has no plans to run more in the future.
I hate to say it, it's a broken system. I hate to say it, but it is so challenging to make it because you gotta have cash. Now that's not everybody, right? Unless you got to be a standout. You got
only 99.9% of the people got to have money.
You better be ridiculously good today to get the opportunity that I had. And I mean, even today, Kenny, I can't go drive a truck without bringing money to the table, right?
Well, that's big.
I went to drove that truck at Bristol this year. I had to bring a significant amount of money to go drive it. You would think you win a couple cup championships that you can go drive whatever you want whenever you
sell
want.
You.
Right. It's like, well, they would want me in the car because I can help them, build their program. I have experience. I can, help us. Nope. I got to bring money to go race still. So
this is unbelievable. I mean, to me, this is breaking news in the garage area.
No, this is true.
Needs to be said, though.
Champion has to bring money to go racing. What does a 18-year-old kid, 19, 20-year-old kid that does not have a resume expect?
Unbelievable.
I don't know how you do it. Like, to the point that, like, I don't know if I want my kid to go racing.
This aggravates me. This upsets me.
It upsets me, too. And I don't know the fix either. It's too freaking expensive. But when you get to, like, ARCA, trucks, Xfinity, like, the business model sucks.
You're bringing money.
Just sucks, right? Like Cup racing, the team owners, they can make money. And that's important. And then if they can get a sponsor and pay a driver to drive their car, that's great. But there's not many racing series these days that can do that. And doesn't matter what your resume is, you're going to have to pay to go play.
So although this is a beautiful conversation because it bleeds the truth, it's like, wow, it is really true. Our two-time champion just said he went to run a truck race, and they said, well, you got any money? That's unheard of.
I wanted to run more, but I couldn't find the money. And I don't want to pay. I want someone else to pay for me to race. You know what I mean? So I'm like, I got to go find a sponsor to go drive a race car. Like, it's crazy.
And look at me.
Logano's remarks, while absolutely alarming, sound very similar to what we talked about on this channel just last week with Kyle Busch. The other current two-time Cup Series champion was asked his thoughts on John Hunter Nemechek's future and if the driver could make it back to the Cup Series. Unsurprisingly, Rowdy didn't mince words.
Kind of knew where you were going. This isn't to be mean or rude or a bad word, but he needs $6 million and he'll be in a JGR Cup car next year. That's all he needs.
Does he have all the,
It's not a success game anymore. It's a money game. So if he can find the cash, then there will be a seat for him, I'm pretty sure.
Like Logano and Wallace said, it's really upsetting to think that's where the sport is. But there's hope that the upcoming television contract and the increased revenue to the teams will have an impact on this situation and make it where drivers are signed based on their abilities more than their sponsors. Let's hope. Speaking of Kyle Busch, There was some interesting personal news this past week as the Richard Childress racing driver put his Lake Norman house on the market for a whopping $12.99 million. He bought the 15,000 square foot home in 2012 for a then Charlotte area record $7.5 million, according to the Charlotte Observer. And according to property tax records, the owner is listed as the East Denver Revocable Trust, which the Observer confirmed in 2012 was the driver. The home, which is located on a 1.3 acre piece of property and was built in 2008, includes 7 bedrooms and 10 bathrooms, 8 full and 2 half baths. It includes a 180-degree panoramic view of the lake with a boat dock, covered slip, and a fully equipped outdoor kitchen, and a heated swimming pool with a swim-up bar. Adding another layer of intrigue to the story, the realtor listed is Heather Gibbs. Yes, Ty's mom and Coy's widow. She works with Corcoran HM Properties and told the Observer that the owners are just ready to move elsewhere after living in the house for so long, and there's no real personal reason behind the decision to sell. She declined to name the owners behind the trust. But she didn't need to confirm it was Busch's mansion. Photos inside the house did that, including one with his Martinsville clock and another with a jukebox he won at Kentucky. Oh yeah, and the 2 from the couple's wedding ceremony. Just looking at the house, all I can think is that's a lot of M&M sales. And finally, our last story is from this past weekend's race at WWT Raceway. Late in the race, Austin Cindric made contact with the right rear of Austin Dillon, which sent the number 3 car to the right up toward the wall where he collected Ricky Stenhouse Jr. Moments after the race, a frustrated Dillon took direct aim at Cindric, blaming the Penske driver for deliberately wrecking him.
I was wrecked intentionally by him, hooked right, just like Chase and Denny and Bubba's deal. He better be suspended next week.
His grandfather and team owner, Richard Childress, unexpectedly weighed in on the situation during the press conference for the winning driver, Kyle Busch.
He's helped Austin a whole lot. Austin's had some really good runs. He drove up to about 10th till the 2 car wrecked him in there on purpose, sort of a payback.
Cindric remained quiet on the matter until Tuesday, and that's when he channeled Denny Hamlin and posted the SMT data from the incident on Twitter, while providing a lengthy explanation of his version of events on what happened and referencing the data as pretty cut and dry. And if you look at it, it is. And for the second time in as many weeks, we've had a driver share the SMT data to prove their case. It's an interesting trend and one that I personally like because I want to see as much data on the cars as possible. And whenever the driver shares it, it feels like they're giving us a look behind the curtain, albeit briefly. What do you think? Do you like the drivers sharing the SMT data to prove their case? What do you think about Kyle Busch's house? And what do you think about Joey Logano's comments? It's pretty alarming when your current Cup champion, and a 2-time champ at that, has to pay to get in a truck. Let me know what you think in the comments section. All right, guys, that's it. Thanks again for checking out this video. If you liked what you saw, please be sure and tell your NASCAR friends about what we're doing here at Beatin' and Bangin'. And if you want to read more stories like this video, be sure and check out my articles on sportscasting.com. See the link in the description. Hope to see you guys in the next video, and have a great rest of your day.